Hello, amazing people. Welcome back to Building Your Health Esteem. I'm DrJeromeCraig, your host, and today we are finishing up a 3-part series on forgiveness, the F word. Now, I just want to say that in the previous couple of episodes, I've talked about tools and things that I have found helpful, but I do want to acknowledge that no matter what tools are given or presented, it's very important to acknowledge where someone is. These things are things that have worked for me and maybe others, but I'm not a psychologist or psychotherapist. And everyone's in a different part of their lives when they're dealing with trauma. Some people still need to process. Some people are literally still licking wounds and looking to heal. But forgiveness is so much about the possibility of future. And I'm a coach, and that's what I want to do, is enroll people into that future, that healthy, most awesome self that they can be. So without rehashing what I've said in the past 2 episodes, I just want to visit this idea and the saying that you've heard before. To forgive and forget. Now, I think that this idea that forgetting is needed to move on and forgive, I think is totally unnecessary. Forgiveness is that thing that permits us to move forward peacefully, gain some freedom, despite acknowledging the pain that we have suffered in the past. To simply forget things is usually about coping mechanisms and suppressing emotions and downplaying our experiences, which may actually cause them to come up again in your future and put you back in that past. So I think it's important to look back at experiences and learn from them. Otherwise, how can we grow as human beings if we act like these negative experiences never really happened in our lives? Forgiving is about moving forward, not forgetting, because that's kind of inhuman, right? We don't just forget. There's a book out there I read the Blinkist version of, not the full book. It's called Forgiving What You Can't Forget, and the subtitle is Discover How to Move On, Make Peace with Painful Memories, and Create a Life That's Beautiful Again. And this book is written by Lysa TerKeurst. And once again, this is a tool and someone's experience of what's worked for them and their story. And it's about accepting what happened in the past, not trying to change it, not trying to forget it, and acknowledging that these experiences have shaped your belief system. And if you feel like you're stuck in that negative space, this is the right moment to revisit some of that and change the story. So first, she acknowledges those painful experiences by collecting them. So she actually writes them down, and she worked with a therapist, so please work with somebody if this is bringing up some really, really painful stuff in your life. She worked with a therapist, wrote them all down. She collected her experiences and thought about those emotions when she was writing them down, acknowledged what came up in her when she was going through those experiences and recalling them. And then she did something like we did in the last session, which was being that compassionate observer of them and of us. So she collected those experiences and then she connected them to her beliefs and to the others. And then she corrected them. So that's the third part in her collection, connection, and correction. She reframed the stories around it. And that's a little bit of what we tried to do in the previous episode. I just thought I'd share that with you. It's not necessarily my type of book, but I found it interesting to read through something and gain experience from other people, because that's how we learn in life. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, and we got to understand that we're not alone. while we are unique individuals, our experiences in life are very, very human. They're not all unique. Other people have experienced things and worked through them and come out the other side and have something to share. And I think it's important that we listen to those people at times. As I said, I'm not a forgiveness expert. I'm no guru on this topic, but it is something that has come up in my life a lot lately. As a coach, I know there's a lot that needs to be forgiven in people's past, and I think it's most important to acknowledge that, yes, there are others who wrong us, but we wrong ourselves quite often too. So self-forgiveness is a very, very important part of living your most awesome life, building your health esteem, becoming the best version of you. So have a great weekend, friends, and I will catch you next week. Peace. Oh, and I have a huge favor to ask. If you are finding this podcast helpful, please share it with others. In a bot world, I am not sure if there are real people on the other side driving my statistics on my podcast. So if you are a real person listening to this, please give me a rating, write a review, and you can also send me questions or comments. My email is in the notes below. Take care.